meant to be half brothers, but they're not half brothers.
No. Just one good half, one bad half.
We got the other one, and then realised we needed someone to keep him company, and went back, and the woman was like, "Yeah, I've got half brother of his," and they're not even related. She was just lying. This one's too good to be related to Jackson.
Surely.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
So this is a continuation from the last chat. So we had a chat, I think, under 10 sessions in first time round.
Sounds about right.
Where we had big knee problems, didn't want to work with me because you wanted surgery instead.
Yeah.
You went back on that and you're happy you started.
Yeah.
And now we're coming up to 30 sessions in.
Is it that much?
Yeah.
Wow.
How's life? What's happening?
It's just fixed. Like, to be fair, my knee is fixed. I was talking to somebody yesterday who we had a session, and she said, "Oh, what do you do with him then?" So I told her a full story from the beginning. And I got to the end of the conversation. I walked out of the studio and I thought, like, I was going to have that operation. Like, I was convinced I was going to have it. And now the thought of it, imagine if I'd had it done.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bear thinking about. It literally does not bear thinking about. I don't think about, so this knee particularly, it was consuming. So from the moment I woke up in the morning, it caused me problems, to the moment I went to bed, in one way or another. So I lived with it, niggling in the background constantly. If I'd been teaching a class, that would have guaranteed then that I couldn't take my dogs on a walk when I got home, because I would be disabled essentially from the work that I'd done. So my husband would have to take the dogs for a walk. I literally now come home, it doesn't even cross my mind, jump on the bike, take the dogs out, walk, doesn't matter, walk up and down hills. Like, that is something, if you told me at the beginning that I could walk downhill without, okay, it's not fair to say no pain at the moment, but it's now a 1 and it used to be a 9.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have to, I don't know how to explain it, kind of brace myself to fall.
Okay.
I constantly felt like it could give way. I was going to fall. I'd have to put way more weight on this leg than that leg, if that makes sense, which made me wobbly. And now I just walk downhill without thinking about it. Honestly, without thinking about it. Yeah. I mean, I don't like walking up and down hills because I'm lazy, but I can do it. And I think that's the point. Yeah. Friend of mine, as cliche as it is, friend of mine's sort of going to go and walk at Pen y Fan next week. And like, walking's not really my bag, but I would not have been able to consider that 6 months ago. And now the only thing putting me off is the fact that I can't be asked driving to Brecon, and I can't be asked walking up there because I'm lazy. It's not like, I could do it. I could do it, no problem at all. So yeah, it's kind of miraculous, to be honest with you. And I did worry that, because I admit being inherently lazy, that we might fix it temporarily, and that all on me now, if I wasn't able to keep it up, then that it would get bad again. I did have a couple of lazy weeks, as you know, where I was, and it's a nominal amount of time out of my day to do these few little drills you give me to do in the morning. Honestly, I can do it in about 8 minutes now, and if I do that consistently, I don't think about my knee. Yeah. And we got it back, within another 10 days of me actually committing myself. And it is something that, if you think about it, if I'd had the operation, I mean, I'd probably just be starting back at the gym now.
It would be 6 months not walking, isn't it?
Yeah, so I wouldn't even be back in work.
Just about walking at this point.
Just walking. Think about combat, what I'm doing. So, right, that's something we talked about the other day. So body combat, lots of lifting yourself off the floor, lots of kicking. I really did struggle with it. What are you doing, mate? What's that? Silly Billy. And it was embarrassing. So I think I made reference to the 2 launches we've had for combats. Yeah. Now, that's when we get a new choreography program every 3 months, and as presenters get together and we all teach it together. The last time I did it, I had to do the dulled down, less intense version than the other instructors that I did it with, which doesn't matter, but it made me feel, I don't know, I just felt I don't know, less worthy of teaching the program or embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or what, I don't know how to explain it. It was just very frustrating as well that they could all do it and I couldn't. We had one last week and I was jumping higher than 2 of the other 3 of them.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it. It's amazing. My technique has improved. I get so much more out of the workout because I can just do it now.
Yeah.
It's really quite it's quite amazing, to be honest with you. And I keep thinking as well, because the other thing is I still haven't come up on the list to have this done. So the only option would have been privately at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot of money. Like, I would have paid a lot of money to be more disabled than I was beforehand.
Yeah.
And now it's fixed.
And work with me afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And then carry on being able to work with you. And we're not even touching like a tenth of the cost of what my knee would have cost, which is just, I haven't lost my job, because I would have lost my job. They wouldn't have kept those. As a group exercise instructor, they don't keep the slot open for you if you're off work for 6 months. They just don't. I can't. So that would have gone. And I love it there, So it saved my job. I can cycle again. Although, ironically, we started this process off as me wanting to ride bikes again.
Yep.
And I've realised that now I can. I don't really want to. Because it's not that I don't want to. I've discovered other things in the meantime. And I can if I want. I could if I wanted to.
Yep.
And I am doing short distances with the dogs and stuff. And I might set myself a bit of a challenge for next year on the bike. I might do sort of 1 or 2 long distance rides or something and do a bit of training for them. But it's not so much that. I've discovered other things. Like, I'm really enjoying the other stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's shorter, sharper bursts of more concentrated, knowledgeable training. It takes less of my time up and you have far better results.
Yeah.
Rather than getting on a spin bike and for hours and hours on end and really not seeing any results. I'm really enjoying what we're doing. My physique is changing. My legs, certainly the difference in my legs and the strength and I know it's aesthetic, but my thighs particularly I've lost 4 inches around my thighs, which is quite a lot. I'm sorry about my cats.
That's right.
They pick a time to have a scrap, don't they? That's that's where we are with it. It's just all good, really. Yeah.
I think a big concern people have before starting this sort of thing is, will it work when a doctor says it won't, which is something you've had to deal with, and how much does it get in the way of what you want to do? Yeah. That's the 2 sort of biggest stumbling blocks I think newer people get. So what would you say to those?
So I can't believe they don't understand it, do they? That's the only explanation, is that doctors don't know that this option exists. It's all I can think of. Because why would they not suggest this even as a first option? So surely it would be better to try this, whatever your problem. And then if that didn't work, then you know what I mean? If it were a more complex problem than mine, perhaps. But even that, I feel like we probably could have sorted it out. But I find it quite shocking. Quite shocking. I don't know if you remember, the actual wording of the letter was the only option here is surgery. I mean, that's just not true, is it? It's just not true at all. It's not even just a little bit not true. It's just not true at all. So that, and I mean, you're seeing my mum as well. My mum has been, my operation was a little different. She's been told she needs a full knee replacement, came to see you for 2 weeks and can now walk properly.
Yeah.
My mum's elderly, there were complications to her having a general anaesthetic. So something like that, the recovery would be years. You'd never recover from that properly, would you? Why doctors are not recommending this, certainly as a first step, trial option, is beyond my comprehension. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I keep just telling people about it, and they're like I was initially.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, really? She's trying to sell something. Oh, it's probably a mate. Yeah. I wish I could get people to listen to me. Some people realise, quite a lot of people, particularly in the gym, because I was so debilitated before, they watched the transformation. And I've got people, I mean, I've got one member in particular that was not very enthusiastic about my teaching before. In fact, and didn't shy away from voicing that opinion behind my back mostly, and suggesting that perhaps I wasn't up to the job. She's actually approached me recently to tell me how much better my classes are, and oh gosh, you can really tell you've been working. I mean, although I didn't ask for her opinion, it goes to show that people are noticing. And also Thursdays, let's give you Thursdays as an example. I do 2 body combat classes on a Thursday, and usually I try and fit in some training of my own. Oh, I would be so tired on a Thursday night. I don't know if I told you, on a Thursday evening, I used to have to, when I went up to bed, I used to have to sit on my stairs to go upstairs and go up on my bum.
Okay.
Now, the exhaustion is less, because obviously when you're doing something that constantly hurts, it's exhausting. It's, let alone what you're already doing. It's really high intensity anyway. And then you add the element of pain to it. Horrific. So I sleep better. And obviously, that's the other thing. I sleep so much better because that was constant. That used to wake me up 20, 30, 40 times a night. Just if I turned over on that side, put any pressure on that knee, it would mess with my sleep. I can't even remember the last time I thought about it when I was in bed, really. I used to have to physically manipulate my legs out of bed, use my hands to push myself up, because obviously as it was cold overnight or whatever, I hadn't been using it, it would give way. I just get out of bed like I say normal person. I'm not that normal, but as normal as I can possibly be. I just get up and I can go to the loo. Don't really think about it. I don't know why you're not making everyone's knees better. And everything else.
And with what we do is something you've not done before, this style of training. It's completely different. Completely. So how was that transition from your sort of going to a gym, you know what you're doing, you charge your classes, to, I've got to do brand new movements with me, brand new program, all new stuff? How was that? Was it? So it was first of all, when you told me that you could help me, I genuinely didn't know how you were going to do it. I mean, I think you sort of said to me, I'm just going to help strengthen up things that need strengthening up, and just working it all out. I didn't know what to expect. It's not, I can't say it's not what I expected, because I didn't know what to expect, but it was, I don't know. It's had an overall positive effect. I really enjoy it. I know I whinge. I whinge. But I whinge for everything. It's educational. I really find I'm learning stuff about myself, and you're setting me up for the future, aren't you? Because everything that I'm learning with you, I can do forever now, and will do forever, because it just makes everything so much easier. But it hasn't just improved my knee at all. It's just a huge rebalance of my body. I just don't know. I feel better. Mechanically, I'm just working better. I'm a bit sore because you make me work too hard, but sore in a good way. It was honestly, and I know you're not going to believe me, it was easier than I thought it was going to be, which is fair to say, because you don't rush me. I don't feel like you put, Dan and I were talking about it yesterday, and he's like, when you look at one of the workouts, it doesn't seem like it would be a 50-minute workout. But it really is every time, isn't it? And it's because you've taught me about rest and not, just doing a realistic amount of work each time, basically. I don't dread it in any way, shape, apart from deadlifts. I really just don't like those. But I don't think, oh my God, I gotta die. I think, wicked, because I know how I'm going to feel at the end of it. I've been to see you a couple of times with a hangover. I hit it well. And, or if I've had a really bad night's sleep, I just come and do it. And it's not a chore. It's not a chore. And
kind of unbelievable to me that I've worked like loosely in the fitness industry, if you like. It's not the same group exercise, and that I really didn't have a clue that this stuff existed. Clueless.
Yeah. Well, you knew weights existed.
Of course,
you just didn't know
how to use them to,
deal with
to deal with this sort of thing. I didn't even realise it was a correlation.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And why don't you like deadlifts? You know the reason. What's the issue with your deadlifts?
They're just really hard.
Why are they really hard?
Because I'm lazy.
No? So why does your knee hurt?
Oh, yeah. My knee hurts fundamentally because I haven't got any cartilage left in it.
Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt, actually. It seems I've been doing it all wrong. I've been over-exercising in certain areas and not exercising in other areas. So sort of the way I understand it. Yeah,
you've been using your knee all the time, not using your hips at all.
Yeah.
And that's what's caused a problem.
But that's why it's such an improvement so quickly, because you've got me doing things and using muscles that I have honestly, I don't know if I've ever used. Like some of them feel or felt, certainly when we started doing them, so completely unnatural, but at the same time I can feel the benefit.
Yeah.
So we'll do it and I think this is hard. Like the first time we did hip thrusts, or certainly the single leg hip thrust, which by the way I'm managing to put a little bit of weight on the bar now.
Nice.
I know, check me out. I just thought, is this some sort of joke? But then again, even when we did our drills to start with, I was like sweating. Do you remember? Like it was hard just with the resistance bands on.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have been hard for me, but it was. But then after like a week, now it's a piece of piss. Yeah. And I just do it. I can do a full warm up in like 8-9 minutes now if I really, and have to, because I'm always late and I've got to fit it in really quickly. But that's fine. It's better than not doing it, isn't it? Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. And it's kind of addictive because it makes me feel so... There's the other element to it all, isn't there? It's like I've now got... I honestly felt like I was like fighting a losing battle for everything before. I always had to consider it. I always had to... Honestly, I used to take lifts and stuff. I had asked, this is something I haven't told you, I had filled out a form for a disabled badge for my car.
Okay.
And they were going to okay it. They were going to give me a disabled badge. Like, they're not going to give it to me now. I just stopped pushing it. It's one of these things you have to chase, and I just stopped pushing it. But that's how bad it was. Yeah. And now this is how good it is.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Nice.
Pretty impressive.
And then finally, when I get a referral from you, from your class, I want to show them what you have to say. Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to that member of the class who you've been like, look, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, God, especially if they're waiting for surgery, or even if they're just living with any chronic pain, why wouldn't you try it? That's what I want to say to them. It's like, I can say to them all day long, do this, believe me. They're not going to until they try it. But why wouldn't you? Because it's more, if it's anything like the situation I was living with, it takes over your entire life. So give yourself that chance. They're coming to the gym anyway. They want to be fit. They want to be healthy. Why is it not a priority? It should be an absolute priority. Everything, my whole life. Used to dread cleaning my house. Used to dread any sort of decorating or anything like that. Any gardening. I joke about being lazy. Not because I can't I can't sort of find it in me to do it. It was because my greenhouse, when we first got that, which was just before I started with you. Yeah. It's only small, and I've got to get down to the floor, haven't I? I was too embarrassed, and even in front of Dan, because I couldn't get down on the floor to put my tomato plants in the ground, and I was, it's so embarrassing. I had to use my hands, crawl down like a little old woman, and then it was only about 6 weeks later. So I've been with you a month, and he obviously had seen me previously hobbling around. He was like, bloody hell. He's like, do you see how quickly you got down and up off the floor then? And I thought, it's like toothache, innit? When you haven't got toothache, you don't think about your teeth. But when you got toothache, it's the worst thing in the world. And I'd forgotten, and I thought, and I did think, oh my God, yeah. Like, wow. I think people, it's so annoying for me because I have people come to me all the time at the end of like body pump, for example, and they're like, oh, I'm holding my shoulder down like this. And I think, well, thanks for the info. But I really don't know what are you up, you know, if they're expecting advice from me, they're not going to get any because I haven't got any because it's not my job. But I tell them about you, and you can see the cogs turning. And most of them, I try to the QR code, not interested, but not interested. It feels like a commitment, doesn't it? It feels like a commitment, and they don't want to make an on-the-spot choice. So I send them out to your photo and say, well, take a photo, you know, take a photo of his number, so at least you've got it. Yeah, it's that final step of getting people to actually give it a go. And I'm a pretty convincing person, so it is quite a hard thing to, I don't want to say sell, because that's not fair, because it's like, well, I suppose you could use
start the discussion.
Yeah. Like, why? And the other thing of it all leading on to, you know, you working out that it had something to do with my ankle. Fascinating. Even I'd forgotten how badly I sprained my ankle twice about a decade ago. I can remember the pain of it now. But of course it's got something to do with my knee, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't register. But it's the same, like, There's a girl in the gym at the moment with a dodgy shoulder, and if I've told her once, I've told her 50 times to come to you. Yeah. But it's getting them to listen. What we should have done is do a video of me trying to walk up the stairs on a Thursday evening 6 months ago. Yeah. And compared it with, like, I can run up and down the stairs now, no problem, even without warming up.
Do you want to film that?
No. I don't. I tell you what, I'll film it and send it to you. I've just got visions of my bum on the video. But I will film some stuff for you of things that I most certainly would not have been able to do before. Yeah. We're taking the dogs out this afternoon, and we've got a beautiful walk up the back of here by Castle Cork. Very, very hilly. I'll get Dan to do a little video of me walking up and down, because like that sort of stuff would have been impossible. And
like, outside of yourself, I don't know if you think there's a correlation, but recently your son started a gym.
Yeah.
Was he interested while you were in pain, or has he seen how well you started to do, and that's sort of dragged him along? Like, hey, my mum can do this now.
Yeah, maybe.
I wanna.
Yeah, possibly. I hadn't even thought of it like that, but he had zero interest. That's interesting you bring the kids up, because it's quite obviously it's had a very positive effect on them. I'm just more organised because everything's not such a struggle. They're eating better because I'm trying to eat better as well. But yeah, I do wonder. He's a little bit competitive. Yeah. And I think Dan was sort of saying a couple of weeks ago about like me squatting quite heavier than him and all this malarkey. George was like, well, I could do that. So, well, you can't, son, because you're 13. But yeah, I wonder if that is why he's shown an interest, and he is loving it as well. So, and it's a bit of column A and column B, isn't it? Because before, if he'd said to me that he wants me to drive him to the other side of Cardiff and back 3 times a week so he could go to the gym, what would have run through my mind is my foot on that clutch pedal for an extra 3 hours a week, more than that, 5 hours a week, probably dropping him there and back, which was difficult, you know. Now I just think, yeah, George wants to go to the gym, hooray, you know, get him off his computer, brilliant. And of course, like the mood, he's very introvert, my son, and the mood improvement in him since he started going to that as well is just amazing. He can't wait to turn 16 so he can come to the gym and like just show off all his skills. Yeah,
friends of family.
Yeah, that's it. Grandma, me, stepdad, George, all of us, and get my old man involved. Bring the cats. You'd show him a bit of parkour, wouldn't you, Mace? Yeah. I saw the most hilarious thing the other day, and it was like, how come I'm training, watching what I eat, and I can barely climb the stairs. My cat sleeps for 22 hours a day, eats like a pig, and it's like literally like he can parkour the shit out of anything. Very true. It's very true. Yeah. But yeah, or I mean, literally, if anybody's even thinking about it, or even considering, is it worth spending the money? Is it worth investing the time? The answer is just yes. And I would go as far as to say they might want to not bother wasting their money with anybody else, like physios and stuff. I know I went to 3 physiotherapists about this. It didn't make the slightest bit of difference. I had injections, which, okay, like, yeah, they numb the pain for like a couple of weeks. Same with acupuncture, worked because it was like stopping it hurting very temporarily, but it wasn't solving the problem. I mean, I was going back and forth to Landock Hospital for like months to physios, and I think about the stuff they were trying to get me to do, and it's like, well, that was clearly never going to work. I don't know whether it didn't seem like enough. You know, we have to lift heavy weights and do things that come unnaturally to anybody to get the results here, and that's fine. Like, if it works, doesn't it? Yeah. But there wasn't, like, honestly, and I had been to somebody else that does something similar to what you do, and unfortunately that didn't work either. Yeah, I would just say, as particularly people that are paying like privately for physio or whatever, or God forbid paying privately for operations, just to know. I would just say, just at least try this first.
I think NHS is great for your daily life. Like, yeah, it's going to get rid of the pain a bit so you can boil a kettle.
Yeah.
But you want to do your classes, you want to cycle, you want to run.
Yeah.
And they just haven't got the resource for that.
No, of course
That's
they haven't.
the difference.
Yeah.
And
you have to choose whether to make yourself better or not as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, when they started talking about disabled badges for me, you know, I think that was really what did it. And I thought, like, what? No. And you have to make that choice. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like, I have lazy days, you know I do. Like, I have days where I just, you know, like anybody else, can't be bothered, but they're few and far between now because I just generally feel so much better.
Yeah. And did you think you could do it?
I didn't know. You seemed pretty confident. Yeah, there was a bit of me, well, you know, even when I had personal trainers in the past and stuff, you know, it's quite easy to make an excuse and not turn up, isn't it? But for some reason with you, I just haven't really, I think I had made the choice, and I'm a bit older now and a bit wiser, and it's just like, you know, there's no point doing it half-heartedly. You may as well just do it properly.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, then you've got something to say, haven't you? But then, of course, it did work. So I got nothing to say. Yeah. No, good decision. Good decision. What's next?
Well, Florida's next for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the big one.
It is. Next year. I'm sorry about the fur.
That's right.
Yeah. He doesn't get stroked all that often because I'm allergic to him.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I've got shorts in the bag.
Yeah, that's good. As long as you're not allergic to him, it's fine. I don't think you're allowed to move now, Di. You're not allowed to go back to work.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Message your mum, be like, oh.
Yeah, all good though. All good.
Happy days.
I think people need to listen more to Di.
Listen more to me.
They need to listen more to you, yes, they do.
And sign up to my newsletter.
Yeah, good. Also, I don't want to do deadlifts anymore.
That's tough. Can you distract your cat?
I can. Mason, you can't sit there all day. You might have to pick him up and plonk him by there, dude.
Oh, but we've just made a really good bond.
I know.
Don't wanna ruin the friendship.
I know, it's fine. He'll just go to sleep by there. Otherwise, I'm going to have my hands in your crotch. And that's just weird. Go on, Mace. He's okay. Oh, come on, Mace. Silly bugger. Go on, go. Oh, sorry. Go where I was sitting because it's nice and warm. There we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, imagine